Hello and welcome to Amigos IAS. I'm Adnan. In today's segment, we'll be discussing anti-defection law in the backdrop of Himachal Pradesh Speaker disqualifying 6 rebel Congress MLAs. So let's jump into this particular topic. So I will just be giving the overview in the beginning here. Let's try to understand how anti-defection law operates, and let's also try to know what are the options available before a person who has been disqualified, and actually in what backdrop Rajya Sabha elections manner has been changed. So beginning with the first thing, as we are seeing these days, lot of political turmoil going on in Himachal Pradesh because recently Rajya Sabha elections were conducted in Himachal Pradesh Assembly also, and for one seat where people expected that Congress, which has a majority, is able to comfortably make the contestant Abhishek Manu Singhvi win the elections. But what happened? BJP candidate has won the election because cross voting happened in this case. So, in this backdrop, Himachal Pradesh Speaker disqualified 6 of those rebel MLAs. For what reason? I'll just come back to that. Just hold on. Okay, the order is subject to judicial scrutiny. It will attain finality after judiciary will look into this aspect. The Speaker has told, because Speaker's decision of disqualification is subject for judicial review. And next aspect is, we are not sure whether these MLAs are going to approach the judiciary or not. Here the most important thing is, because the Congress was not able to make its own contestant win the elections, BJP wanting to put trust vote, or let's say no confidence motion there. Fine. So the strength of the House after disqualifying these 6 MLAs will now reduce. So the amount of, or the number of a majority vote is required to pass this particular trust vote is lesser in number. Generally, Himachal Pradesh has 68 assembly seats. So now how much it has come down to? 62, because 6 MLAs have been disqualified by the Speaker. Congress has 34 MLAs and 32 is majority mark, because 62 by 2 plus 1. That is a majority mark, 32. Congress has 34. And 3 independent MLAs who are supporting Congress also did cross voting. And now Congress has to make sure that when this no confidence motion is introduced, or when the trust vote is brought by the Congress government itself, they have to cross this 32 MLA mark, 32 seat mark they have to cross. As of now, they have 34 here. So here, this is one news. Now in this backdrop, let's try to understand what is this anti-defection law. This was brought in the context of political party, MLAs and MPs switching their political parties, and the phrase Aya Ram Gaya Ram, which was also used by Himachal Pradesh Speaker. We have to understand what is that. That means there was a person called as Gaya Lal in 1967 Haryana Assembly elections. This person, Gaya Lal, has changed his party thrice in one day. And in the evening, in the press conference, the Congress president, he was asked, where is this Gaya Lal? So he said that Gaya Ram ab Aya Ram ban gaya hai. So this particular phrase has characterized the defection politics in India, because there was no law to disqualify them. But the Rajiv Gandhi government brought 52nd Amendment 1985, and they inserted 10th schedule, and there they wrote clearly what is the meaning of defection and in what grounds you can disqualify a particular legislator. So let's see what are the grounds. First ground, if a person voluntarily leaves or quits the membership of his political party, that means a person is going from one party A to party B voluntarily, that is also a ground for disqualification under defection law. Okay. And second one, if he votes or abstains from voting contrary to the party's directions. Generally in a party, to maintain discipline, we have the chief whip officer. Now this chief whip officer is the person who will be giving this whips of different lines, first line, 2 line or 3 line whips. If I say first line, it means you have to just come to we are going to introduce so and so bill or take some matter for discussion. 2 line means we are going to say that we are going to introduce so and so thing in the parliamentary session or any assembly session, and you are expected to attend that. 3 line means what? You are not only expected to attend, but you also are expected to vote as per the party's directions. Strictest of all the whips is 3 line whip. That means we are going to take up some decision or discussion on a particular day. You are expected to present and you have to vote as per the party directions. Violating the party whip is a ground for disqualification. If the party has forgiven you, has condoned you within 15 days after you have taken the action, then anti-defection law will not apply. But even after 15 days also, sorry, within 15 days, okay, if the party has not forgiven you, that means you can be disqualified by the speaker or the presiding officer. Two grounds. And next two grounds are what? If a person who is an independent candidate, there is no chance that you can join any political party. But if you are a person who is nominated, let's say Rajya Sabha MP, you have 6 months of time to join any political party. After 6 months, if you join, then you can be disqualified as per the anti-defection law. So these are the grounds on which you can disqualify. There are some exceptions also. Previously, if 1/3 of the legislators left any political party, which was called as split, then anti-defection law would not apply. But because 1/3 is easy to split, now what they have done, they have brought an amendment to the Constitution, 91st Amendment 2003. And in this, they have brought two major important things. Okay, two major things. First one, because if somebody is leaving a political party to say, I am given minister post in some other government, then I may switch my political party. So to avoid that, there was a cap on the number of ministers any government can have. It is 15% of the total strength of the particular assembly, or it is Lok Sabha. That means you cannot have more than 15% of the council of ministers in a government. That was the first thing. Second thing, 1/3 is easy to split, right? So they have brought 2/3. That means if 2/3 people leave a political party, then they are not disqualified. They call that word as merger. 2/3 is merger, 1/3 is split. Of course, there is no logical criteria for this, but still they made it somewhat more difficult. That means if 2/3 people leave a political party, it will be considered as merger and they will not be disqualified. So this is an exception here. What about speaker? In the Britain, as we know, the speaker will resign from his political party after he becomes the speaker of the House of Commons. And next time he is confirmed to be elected, because of the ballot paper, they do mention that this is speaker's re-election. Once a speaker, always a speaker. But in India, speakers do not resign from their political parties. But 52nd Amendment, okay, it has anti-defection law, gives a facility for the speaker to resign from his political party, and later, after his tenure is over, he can rejoin the political party. That means you will not be disqualified if you, as a speaker, leave your political party. So these are the exceptions in the anti-defection law. And the power of speaker. Speaker is the adjudicating authority when it comes to the disqualifications. As we know, Article 102 talks about the disqualification of the MPs. There, for the other grounds like undischarged, insolvent or unsound mind, office of profit, in these aspects, it is the president who will take the decision by consulting Election Commission, whose opinion is binding. But in the other case, in the anti-defection law case, here the speaker is the adjudicating authority. In the past, there was no judicial review available against speaker actions, but it was challenged in the Quixote Holohan versus Achille case. In this case, the Supreme Court has held that the speaker having the powers to disqualify is fine, but his decision will be up for judicial review. That is why even the Himachal Pradesh speaker also is saying that his decision is valid until judiciary scrutinizes that. That is the story of the anti-defection law. Now a question like, why Congress MLAs were disqualified despite the rules saying that in Rajya Sabha elections, they are open elections and cross voting is allowed. That means what? Even though it's an open ballot election where every person who will cast their vote on the ballot will show his vote to the concerned party representative, and it is an open ballot system, so that cross voting will not be, should not be happening, but actually it happens. But there is no disqualification if a person votes contrary to a party's direction. That means you may not vote for your own political party candidate, and anti-defection law shall not apply. Then why in this case speaker has given this particular disqualification? It is because they have violated the party whip. Cut motions. Budget was passed after this. Those 6 rebel MLAs have not come to the budget. When cut motions were being discussed, when the budget was being passed, they were asked twice to attend the session, but they did not follow the whip's direction. That means for not violating, for not accepting, or for violating the whip's directions, these MLAs have been disqualified, not because they have cross-voted in the Rajya Sabha elections. So before I end this particular session, just a small reminder here. In Rajya Sabha elections, The open ballot system is followed. Cross voting means you can vote for other political party candidate also. It will not attract disqualification. The party may take disciplinary action, but they cannot disqualify them. This was brought because in the past, when Congress was going for this in 1998, they were having these Rajya Sabha elections. Some of these people, for the sake of money or muscle power, they did not vote for the Congress party. And because secret voting was there, people would not know actually they have cross voted. So at that time, in 1997, the Ethics Committee of Rajya Sabha is formed. They were given this task of finding out solution for this. In 1998, they gave the report by saying that we need to have open ballot system for the Rajya Sabha elections. And Vajpayee government accepted this in principle. In 2003, the Representation of People Act was amended and it brought two important changes. One, the requirement that a person who contests for Rajya Sabha elections should definitely belong to that state from which he is going to be elected. That requirement of domicile was relaxed. That means after 2003, no need for a person to belong to that particular state from where they are going to contest for the Rajya Sabha seat. Any person from India who is citizen of India, of course, and who has crossed the age of 30 years will be eligible, and whose name is there in the electoral rolls will be eligible to contest for Rajya Sabha elections. Second important change, they have changed the secret ballot systems to open ballot system, thinking that this is going to solve the issue of cross voting. But things have not changed. So until and unless in India we promote healthy practices and internal democracy, these situations will keep repeating. So this is the explanation, guys. So if you have any further questions on this matter, please feel free to ask. So in this session, I dealt with the provisions of anti-defection law, and I have also explained why this open ballot system is followed. So I'll see you another day with some other video. Keep watching Amigos IAS.